Rahu will transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra from November 23, 2025 to August 2, 2026. Shatabhisha, stretching from 6 degrees 40 foot to 20 degrees 00 in Aquarius, is a nakshatra deeply connected to healing, truth, cycles, dissolution, and the revelation of hidden realities. Varuna is this nakshatra's deity, the deity associated with divine law, the unseen realms, and karmic correction. Rahu itself rules this nakshatra, which gives it exceptional strength, intensity, and influence while transiting here. When Rahu occupies its own lunar mansion, its energy becomes sharper, more direct, and more undeniable. This transit pushes humanity into a collective phase of psychological exposure, technological acceleration, spiritual questioning, and hidden truths coming to light. Shatabhisha's symbol, an empty circle, defines the essence of this transit. The circle represents the cycle of life, endings and beginnings, the karmic loop, the eternal return, and the invisible laws that bind the universe. It is also symbolic of voids, spaces that need to be filled, and truths that need to be uncovered. During this transit, Rahu magnifies whatever is incomplete, hidden, unexplored, or misunderstood. It pushes individuals and societies to confront illusions, false narratives, and unresolved issues. Because Rahu rules shadows and deception, and Shatabhisha rules exposure and purification, this transit becomes a force that reveals what has been concealed for too long. Rahu's transit in Aquarius adds another layer of influence. Aquarius is the sign of innovation, humanitarian causes, scientific progress, networks, technology, global connectivity, social reform, and large organizations. It is also a Saturn-ruled sign, emphasizing structure, discipline, karmic accountability, and long-term consequences. When Rahu moves through Aquarius, the world becomes hyper-focused on technological expansion, digital evolution, medical research, decentralization, privacy, and collective movements. Trends that were once niche suddenly become mainstream. Unconventional ideas gain traction. Society becomes more experimental yet simultaneously more unstable. Shatabhisha's influence strengthens all themes related to healing, both physical and psychological. This is a period where major breakthroughs in medicine, biotechnology, mental health, and research can emerge. But it is also a time where collective vulnerabilities become visible. Rahu exaggerates whatever it touches, and Shatabhisha demands correction, so unresolved health issues, mental strain, addiction problems, or societal wounds may surface globally and individually. Healing becomes a priority, but it often begins with the uncomfortable phase of facing the truth. On a personal level, Rahu in Shatabhisha creates a deep desire to understand oneself beyond surface identity. People may feel drawn toward introspection, therapy, occult knowledge, metaphysical subjects, or scientific research. This transit invites individuals to look behind the veil, question long-held beliefs, and heal emotional patterns that have been ignored. Shatabhisha is associated with solitude, introspection, secrecy, and mental withdrawal. Many people may seek more privacy, spend more time alone, or disconnect from social noise to process inner changes. Because Rahu is a planet of obsession, magnification, and unconventionality, it brings sudden shifts in perspective. People may form strong opinions, challenge belief systems, question authority, or break away from traditional structures. At times, the transit may cause emotional detachment, internal confusion, or a feeling of being mentally overloaded. Rahu in Shatabhisha is less about comfort and more about purification. Collectively, this transit may reveal systemic flaws, whether in government, institutions, healthcare systems, corporations, or technological frameworks. Aquarius represents networks in the masses, and Shatabhisha represents exposure, so things that operate behind the scenes may come into public awareness. Whistleblowing, digital transparency, hidden agendas, data leaks, and scientific revelations can occur. This is also a period when global movements, activism, and collective actions gain strength. On a spiritual level, Rahu in Shatabhisha challenges blind faith, false religious structures, and superficial spirituality. It exposes illusions related to gurus, belief systems, and spiritual shortcuts. This transit encourages genuine inner growth rather than performance. Rahu breaks false structures and pushes people toward their own truth, even if it disrupts comfort zones. Some individuals may experience a deep awakening, while others may feel temporarily lost as old belief systems dissolve. Rahu's aspects during this period enhance the learning process. Its 5th and 9th aspects push individuals toward education, introspection, and wisdom. Where these aspects fall in a person's chart determines how they break illusions and gain clarity. The houses of Gemini and Libra are important areas of learning and correction for everyone because Rahu directly influenced them with special aspects. This is why the transit demands self-education, analytical thinking, and the willingness to accept new information. The influence of other transits amplifies the intensity. Saturn's transit through Pisces adds a layer of spiritual discipline, karmic accountability, and emotional restructuring. Jupiter's movement between Cancer and Gemini provides phases of clarity, protection, and intellectual grounding. Ketu's presence in Leo creates detachment from ego and pushes the collective away from rigid identity structures. Periods when Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars join Rahu in Aquarius create peak intensity, breakthroughs, and disruptions. Overall, Rahu's transit in Shatabhisha Nakshatra is a period of deep cleansing, intellectual awakening, and karmic correction. It forces individuals and societies to face realities that were previously ignored. It is not a soft or passive transit. Rahu in its own nakshatra works with precision, exposing illusions and compelling transformation. The simplest way to understand Rahu is to see it as a force of pull or attraction. Wherever Rahu is transiting, by sign or by house, that's the area of life you feel drawn toward, often intensely. Rahu creates desire and fixation. Rahu doesn't just create interest, it creates obsession, pulling you toward experiences that shape your growth and challenge your limits. To accurately assess the impact of these transits, it is crucial to consider your ascendant and moon signs. The ascendant sign offers insights into the timing of life events, while the moon sign reveals how you will emotionally respond to these changes. Take into account the position of your current Mahadasha Lord in your birth chart, as it can shed light on how these transits will influence the recurring themes of your current Dasha period. This transit may manifest differently for each individual, and how they navigate this transit will depend on their personal charts. Keep in mind that the effects of this transit are contingent on Rahu's interaction with the planets in individual birth charts. It's also worth noting that individuals currently experiencing the influence of Rahu's Dasha periods may feel the effects of this transit more intensely. To understand how this transit may affect you based on your zodiac sign and the houses it transits, let's delve into those specifics. For Aries, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius brings an intense, opportunity-filled, yet karmically demanding period connected to income, gains, desires, social networks, friendships, recognition, visibility, elder siblings, and long-term ambitions. The 11th house is the house of expansion, wish fulfillment, and social participation. When Rahu enters this house, especially through Shatabhisha, a nakshatra ruled by Rahu itself, the hunger for progress intensifies. Your desire to grow, earn, achieve, and expand your influence will be strong, but so will the illusions, swings, and lessons that accompany this pursuit. Shatabhisha Nakshatra's core symbolism, the empty circle, plays a major role in shaping the flavor of this transit. The empty circle represents spiritual cycles, hidden truths, return to source, and karmic loops. Shatabhisha pulls you into the deeper reality behind your ambitions and encourages you to question the authenticity of your desires. For Aries individuals, a sign driven by action and impulse, Shatabhisha forces a slower, more introspective approach to gains. You may feel an intense desire to expand financially or professionally, but the path will require self-awareness, truthfulness, and discipline rather than shortcuts. Rahu in the 11th house amplifies your ambitions. You may crave greater income, recognition, or social influence. You may feel that your goals are too big for your current environment, pushing you to seek new opportunities, new connections, or new communities. Aquarius is a Saturn-ruled sign, so although Rahu intensifies your desires, Saturn tests your patience and adds delays. Gains will not come instantly. They must be earned through consistent effort, strategic thinking, and perseverance. You may begin a new project, business idea, or a long-term plan that has the potential to grow substantially over time. Your social circle becomes a major area of change during this transit. Rahu in Shatabhisha exposes illusions in friendships and networks. You may outgrow certain groups, disconnect from superficial associations, or find that some friendships were based on convenience rather than loyalty. New connections enter your life, often people who are unconventional, highly intelligent, emotionally detached, or connected to large organizations, technology, humanitarian work, or research. You may collaborate with people who operate outside traditional frameworks or belong to foreign or unusual backgrounds. Elder siblings, if you have any, become an area of focus, sometimes due to stress, health issues, or emotional distance. Responsibilities toward them may increase. This is not just an external event. Shatabhisha pushes you to address emotional truth within family relationships. Financially, Rahu in the 11th house magnifies your ability to earn, especially through entrepreneurial efforts, online platforms, innovative work, social networks, technology, or large organizations. But because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, the financial path requires discipline. Impulsive decisions or unrealistic expectations can lead to disappointment. A structured, patient, long-term approach is the key. If you combine effort with wisdom, this transit can significantly expand your gains. But if you pursue deceptive or manipulative methods, Rahu in Shatabhisha will expose the illusion and cause losses. The 11th house is also 8th from the 4th house, indicating major transformations in your home life. You may relocate, renovate, or emotionally detach from your current living environment. A sudden change in home or residence is possible. This shift is not accidental. It aligns with your evolving ambitions and the expanding direction of your life path. Rahu's special aspects deepen the lessons of this transit. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect and Libra with its 9th aspect. For Aries individuals, Gemini rules the 3rd house and Libra rules the 7th house. Rahu's 5th aspect on Gemini pushes you to refine your communication skills, build new skills, assert yourself, and approach business ideas with intelligence rather than impulsiveness. This aspect encourages you to educate yourself about marketing, technology, writing, negotiation, or entrepreneurial strategies. It also helps break the illusions that Rahu creates in your 11th house by encouraging you to explore the truth behind your desires through action and learning. Rahu's 9th aspect on Libra influences your 7th house of relationships, business partnerships, and public interactions. This aspect pushes you to understand how your partnerships influence your ambitions. You may learn important lessons about balance, fairness, expectations, and cooperation. You may encounter business partners who are unconventional or foreign. This aspect helps you break illusions around partnerships so that your long-term goals can be built on honesty and clarity. Saturn's transit through Pisces adds a karmic layer to this period. Saturn sits in your 12th house during this transit, highlighting closure, losses, emotional purification, detachment, and subconscious restructuring. While Rahu pushes you toward external gains and social expansion, Saturn demands internal cleansing and spiritual discipline. This combination can make you feel both ambitious and introspective. You may find yourself withdrawing from unnecessary social noise while pursuing more meaningful social or professional goals. Saturn in the 12th also demands cautious spending, mindful emotional energy, and increased awareness of sleep and mental health. Jupiter's movement between Cancer and Gemini plays a major supportive role. When Jupiter enters Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its 9th aspect, bringing wisdom, clarity, and ethical grounding to your ambitions. This is when you make mature decisions about money, networks, and long-term plans. Jupiter's influence protects you from the impulsiveness or illusions of Rahu. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your 4th house, it strengthens your emotional foundation and supports any major changes in home or personal stability. Ketu in Leo, placed in your 5th house, brings detachment from romantic matters, speculative risks, or ego-driven creativity. This helps you focus more on your long-term gains rather than getting distracted by emotional fluctuations. Ketu's detachment also pushes you to pursue intellectual clarity, which supports Rahu's ambitions in the 11th house. A highly charged period arrives between February and April 2026 when Mars, Mercury, Sun, and Venus all transit Aquarius and conjoin Rahu. This cluster amplifies ambition, mental restlessness, desire for recognition, frustration with delays, and intensity in group interactions. During this period, you may gain sudden opportunities or recognition, but you must also avoid impulsive decisions, overconfidence, or conflict within networks. Throughout the entire transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha pushes you to redefine your desires and understand what you truly want in life. You may grow rapidly, but you must stay aware of illusions and unrealistic expectations. Shatabhisha forces you to break patterns of superficial ambition and replace them with meaningful growth. By the end of this transit, your income potential, social environment, goals, and understanding of success will be dramatically transformed. This transit teaches you how to pursue gains without losing clarity, integrity, or balance. For Taurus, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius becomes one of the defining phases of your professional life. The 10th house governs career, authority, public reputation, responsibilities, karma, and your position in the world. When Rahu enters this house, especially through Shatabhisha, its own nakshatra, the desire for career growth and recognition intensifies dramatically. Shatabhisha's energy, symbolized by the empty circle, pushes you to understand the deeper truth behind your ambitions and confront illusions around authority, success, and social validation. Rahu in its own nakshatra becomes extremely powerful, but Aquarius being Saturn's sign ensures that nothing comes without sustained effort, discipline, and patience. In the 10th house, Rahu makes you hungry for professional growth. You may feel compelled to push beyond your current limits, expand your responsibilities, take on new roles, or prove yourself in a bigger way. You may aim for positions you previously hesitated to pursue. This ambition is not negative, it is part of your evolution, but it must be guided by awareness. Rahu tends to magnify desires, and in Shatabhisha's environment, it pushes you to question whether your goals are truly aligned with your purpose or whether they stem from insecurity, comparison, or external pressure. Professionally, this transit brings intense activity, sudden shifts, surprising opportunities, and equally surprising challenges. You may feel that circumstances at work change quickly and unpredictably. People may come and go, responsibilities may shift suddenly, and your role may evolve faster than expected. This is Rahu's way of breaking stagnancy. Aquarius represents innovation and new direction, so your career may move into new age fields, technology, data-driven roles, humanitarian platforms, or unconventional sectors. If you already work in these areas, your visibility and influence can grow. Shatabhisha's healing and truth-oriented nature pushes you to expose and correct flaws in your career path. If you have been stuck in a job that no longer serves you, Rahu may push you out of it. If you have been suppressing your professional potential, Rahu will force you to claim it. If you have been working under authority figures who misuse power, Rahu will bring these issues to light. The 10th house also represents your relationship with authority, bosses, managers, government, and even father figures. During this period, conflicts with authority may appear because Rahu does not tolerate restrictive or unfair environments. If your seniors expect unquestioning obedience, you may struggle. If you lack boundaries with them, you may feel overwhelmed. The key is to navigate these tensions with maturity rather than impulse. Even your relationship with your father may fluctuate. Distance, differing opinions, health concerns, or emotional disconnect may appear. This is partly because the 10th house symbolizes the father, and Rahu's transit often introduces instability or sudden developments. It may simply be a period where both of you are focused on your respective responsibilities. Public image becomes a major theme. Rahu in the 10th house heightens your visibility. People notice your work more, judge your actions more quickly, and respond to your performance more intensely. This can help you rise if you maintain integrity and discipline. If you get carried away by ego, show manipulation, or pursue shortcuts, Shatabhisha's truth-focused energy can expose the illusion and cause setbacks. This is not the transit to fabricate success or claim false expertise. The nakshatra demands authenticity and accountability. The 10th house is also the house of karma. Rahu's presence here reveals unresolved professional patterns, fear of failure, ambition driven by insecurity, dependence on others' approval, or chronic dissatisfaction. You may revisit past professional decisions and see them through a more mature lens. Some Taurus individuals may feel pulled toward entrepreneurship or self-direction because Aquarius represents freedom from traditional structures. Others may adopt new technologies or modernize their work approach. The more innovative and forward-thinking you are willing to be, the more aligned you become with this transit. Rahu's special aspects deepen the influence of this period. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect and Libra with its 9th aspect. Gemini rules your 2nd house of wealth, family, and speech. Rahu's 5th aspect pushes you to study financial strategies, improve your communication style, redesign your earning structure, or find new ways to monetize your skills. This aspect helps expose illusions surrounding money, overspending, dependence on one source of income, or unrealistic financial expectations. It encourages you to learn financial discipline and adjust your speech, especially in professional settings where communication impacts authority. Rahu's 9th aspect on Libra influences your 6th house of work routines, conflict, health, service, and problem solving. This pushes you to understand the truth behind your work habits and your approach to service. It highlights issues such as workplace disputes, competition, deadlines, and employee management. You may need to educate yourself about health, discipline, and maintaining order. This aspect helps clear illusions around your daily routines, encouraging you to rectify inefficiencies and adopt more productive habits. It also helps you develop a more realistic understanding of your responsibilities. Saturn's transit through Pisces adds a major karmic dimension to this period. Saturn sits in your 11th house, testing your gains, networks, and long-term ambitions, while Rahu intensifies your career hunger. This combination requires a calm, grounded, and strategic approach. You may face delays despite effort, but Saturn ensures that whatever you build during this period becomes long-lasting. Saturn also filters out superficial friendships or professional connections, leaving behind only those who are genuinely supportive. Jupiter's movement between Cancer and Gemini plays a supportive role. When Jupiter moves into Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its 9th aspect, bringing wisdom, structure, and clarity to your career decisions. This is the phase when your professional vision becomes more refined. Jupiter protects you from impulsive or ego-driven decisions and helps you find mentors or guidance. Ketu in Leo, placed in your 4th house, creates detachment from familiar surroundings, emotional comfort, or a traditional sense of security. This supports Rahu's push toward career growth because your focus shifts outward. You may spend less time at home or emotionally detached from domestic concerns in order to pursue bigger goals. Between February and April 2026, when Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all transit Aquarius and conjoin Rahu, your career life becomes extremely active. This period may bring major breakthroughs, new responsibilities, recognition, conflict with authority, or sudden changes. This is a peak period of intensity where your decisions carry long-term impact. Throughout this transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha forces you to align your career with truth, discipline, and purpose. You cannot rely on shortcuts, manipulation, or ego-driven decisions. If you embrace innovation, remain ethical, and show perseverance, this can become one of the most transformative career phases of your life. When Rahu leaves Shatabhisha in August 2026, you emerge with a clearer sense of direction, a stronger professional identity, and a deeper understanding of what success truly means for you. For Gemini individuals, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius marks a major shift in your belief system, worldview, education, and relationship with teachers, mentors, and fatherly figures. The 9th house is one of the most important houses in astrology, connected to Dharma, higher learning, spirituality, long-distance travel, philosophy, religious views, fortune, ethics, and your overall life direction. When Rahu enters this house, especially through its own nakshatra Shatabhisha, your understanding of truth, morality, and purpose undergoes deep transformation. This can be a liberating period of intellectual expansion, but it can also feel chaotic, confusing, or overwhelming at times. Shatabhisha Nakshatra's symbolism sets the tone for this entire transit. The empty circle represents dissolution, cycles of purification, and deeper truths beyond appearances. Because Rahu becomes extremely powerful in Shatabhisha, it begins to question every belief you have been carrying, whether inherited from family, society, or past conditioning. Shatabhisha exposes illusions and forces honesty. For Gemini individuals, already known for their curiosity, adaptability, and intellectual nature, this transit becomes a period of intense inquiry and deep inner questioning. Your ideas about religion, philosophy, spiritual practices, and even life purpose may shift dramatically. You might feel compelled to study subjects you previously ignored: occult sciences, metaphysics, astrology, psychology, alternate healing systems, or progressive philosophies. Rahu does not push you toward traditional learning. Rather, it draws you toward unconventional paths. You may find yourself questioning religious leaders, established doctrines, rigid belief systems, or cultural norms. This questioning is not rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It is your soul's attempt to find your own truth. This transit often brings an unconventional guru or mentor into your life. The mentor might not be someone society recognizes: a spiritual teacher, an astrologer, a scientist, a philosopher, a therapist, or someone from a foreign background. Such a teacher may appear unexpectedly and play a major role in reshaping your perspective. With Rahu in Shatabhisha, your guru or mentor may be mysterious, introverted, highly intelligent, or someone who has walked a unique path. The 9th house also represents long-distance travel and foreign lands. You may travel frequently during this transit, and the journeys may be spiritually or educationally motivated. Pilgrimages, retreats, workshops, foreign seminars, or trips to distant lands can become part of your schedule. These travels are not for entertainment. They carry karmic significance, pushing you toward inner and outer expansion. At the same time, this house is 12th from the 10th house, which brings challenges connected to your career in job settings. You may feel less interested in your usual responsibilities or find that your career path becomes unclear. Conflicts with authority figures at work are possible because Rahu in the 9th makes you question rules, structures, and people who try to limit your thinking. Your father may also experience stress, health issues, or ideological differences with you may intensify. Sometimes distance, physical or emotional, develops between you and fatherly figures during this transit. This is because Rahu pushes you toward your own understanding rather than relying on inherited belief systems. Rahu's influence in Shatabhisha often makes you appear unconventional, rebellious, or eccentric to others. People may find your views controversial or too progressive. This is especially true if you begin openly questioning religious or societal norms. But this process is necessary for your growth. Shatabhisha is a nakshatra of healing, and healing often begins by challenging illusions. The real depth of this transit is activated through Rahu's special aspects. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect, bringing its sharp, analytical, unusual energy directly to your 1st house of self, identity, and life path. This aspect intensifies self-reflection. You may feel compelled to understand who you really are beyond labels, roles, and expectations. The 5th aspect encourages learning and exploration so you can dismantle illusions created in your 9th house. Your personality may shift. You may become more intellectual, more detached, more spiritually curious, or more experimental. This aspect also encourages you to improve your communication style and sharpen your analytical thinking. Rahu's 9th aspect on Libra influences your 5th house of intelligence, creativity, romance, education, and children. This pushes you to learn more about your creative intelligence and refine your understanding of how your thoughts shape your beliefs. It also brings educational opportunities, courses, new skills, deeper study, or research. If you have children, their education or worldview may become an important focus, and you may guide them through non-traditional learning paths. This aspect helps break illusions about your belief system by making you critically analyze your own thinking process. You may also be drawn to spiritually or philosophically informed creative work. Saturn's transit through Pisces adds a layer of seriousness to this entire process. Saturn sits in your 10th house during this period, pushing you to redefine your career responsibilities while Rahu pulls you toward higher learning. This combination often creates internal conflict between what you must do and what you want to understand. Saturn demands accountability, structure, and maturity, while Rahu in Shatabhisha demands liberation from rigid rules. You may feel stretched between worldly duties and your urge to explore deeper truths. This tension is temporary but transformative. It can push you toward a career path that reflects your true values. Jupiter's movement between Cancer and Gemini plays a critical role. When Jupiter enters Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its 9th aspect, softening the intensity of Rahu's influence and giving you wisdom to navigate your changing belief system. Jupiter's presence helps you distinguish truth from illusion. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your 2nd house, it strengthens your moral foundation and supports financial stability, helping you stay grounded. Ketu in Leo, placed in your 3rd house, detaches you from superficial communication, unnecessary socializing, or mindless interactions. This helps you turn inward, allowing Rahu in Shatabhisha to push you toward deeper learning and philosophical maturity. The combination of Rahu in the 9th and Ketu in the 3rd often indicates a desire to speak less and think more. A highly charged period appears between February and April 2026 when Mercury, Sun, Venus, and Mars transit Aquarius and conjoin Rahu. This is when your mind becomes extremely active and restless. You may dive deeper into spiritual or philosophical studies or experience heightened conflicts with teachers or authority figures. This period may bring important breakthroughs or realizations that clarify your life direction. Throughout this transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha pushes you to dismantle false beliefs, expand your worldview, and reconnect with a more authentic sense of purpose. You will question, learn, travel, break old patterns, and step into a more evolved version of yourself. By the end of this transit, your philosophy, beliefs, and worldview may look completely different. For Cancer, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius becomes one of the intense and transformative periods. The 8th house governs sudden events, hidden realities, psychological depth, secrets, intimacy, shared resources, fears, taboos, healing, research, occult knowledge, and karmic rebirth. It is the house where life forces you to evolve, and when Rahu, already a planet of magnification, illusions, and unfulfilled desires, enters this domain through Shatabhisha, a nakshatra of truth, healing, spiritual purification and correction, the impact becomes unmistakably powerful. Shatabhisha Nakshatra's symbol, the empty circle, plays a central role in shaping this transit. It represents the cycle of dissolution and renewal, karmic purification, and the exposure of hidden truths. Because Rahu rules this nakshatra, it becomes extremely strong here. Its desire to uncover, explore, question, and reveal becomes amplified. Shatabhisha pulls you into the depths of your subconscious and emotional world. It forces you to examine patterns you have avoided, unresolved traumas, fears you bury, and truths that require confrontation. For Cancer individuals, already emotionally sensitive and deeply intuitive, this transit intensifies awareness and pushes you through a phase of psychological transformation. The 8th house is not a place where life proceeds in a straight line. It brings sudden, unpredictable shifts that you cannot always anticipate or control. Rahu in Shatabhisha magnifies these shifts. You may experience sudden realizations, unexpected changes in life direction, revelations about people around you, or turning points that push you into deeper wisdom. Some Cancer individuals may experience career shifts, relationship turbulence, financial changes, or emotional breakdowns that ultimately lead to clarity. This is not a negative period, but it is a period where life forces evolution, even if it feels disruptive at first. Your interest in occult sciences, psychology, astrology, tantra, metaphysics, healing techniques, or research-oriented subjects may increase significantly. Shatabhisha is deeply connected to healing, and the 8th house represents the hidden pain that must be healed. You may seek therapy, introspective practices, deep meditation, or mystical subjects as a way to understand yourself. If you work in fields related to surgery, psychology, investigation, research, healing, or finances, this transit can bring breakthroughs, intense learning, and important discoveries. The 8th house also governs accidents, surgeries, injuries, and physical vulnerabilities. Rahu here amplifies both curiosity and risk. You must be cautious with travel, physical activity, and emotional impulsiveness. Any negligence toward health or safety can escalate unexpectedly. Listening to your intuition and taking preventive measures becomes essential. Intimate relationships undergo major transformation during this transit. The 8th house governs emotional bonding, shared vulnerabilities, and psychological intimacy. Rahu tends to create illusions, expectations, or obsession about closeness. You may expect more emotional transparency or feel suspicious, overwhelmed, or misunderstood. Miscommunications, hidden issues, or past resentments may surface. Ego clashes with partner or in-laws may intensify, especially because Rahu destabilizes harmony when emotional intensity rises. Maintaining emotional space, healthy communication, and a willingness to release control becomes important. In some cases, maintaining physical or emotional distance temporarily can stabilize the relationship. You may also notice a tendency towards secrecy. Rahu in the 8th house often makes people guarded, less expressive, or deeply private. You may prefer to keep your plans, emotions, fears, or discoveries to yourself. This is not negative, it is part of the transformation process. But secrecy can create misunderstandings if not handled consciously. This transit also activates your financial world, especially matters related to inheritance, tax, insurance, partner's income, or sudden gains. Rahu may bring unexpected financial fluctuations, sudden gains, or sudden expenses. The important thing is to avoid speculation or risky financial decisions because Rahu in the 8th magnifies impulse. If you are involved in research, finance, or investments, this period brings opportunities but also unpredictability. Grounded decision-making is essential. Rahu's special aspects also shape this transit in an important way. Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect, drawing your attention to the 12th house. This aspect awakens spiritual sensitivity, dream activity, subconscious healing, and the need to understand your own psychological patterns. You may feel drawn to meditation, retreats, spending time alone, or exploring hidden aspects of your mind. This aspect helps break illusions created in the 8th house by encouraging awareness. Rahu's 9th aspect on Libra influences your 4th house, your emotional foundation, home life, mother, inner security and peace of mind. This aspect highlights unresolved emotional patterns, family issues, or childhood memories that influence your current fears or relationships. Shatabhisha forces you to address these patterns so you can release emotional baggage. You may feel temporarily detached from home or family, or you may move or renovate your living environment. This aspect helps you break illusions about what emotional safety truly means. Aquarius ruler Saturn is currently transiting Pisces, your 9th house. Saturn influences your belief system, long-term direction, and spiritual understanding, while Rahu pushes you into deep psychological transformation. Saturn creates pressure but also provides structure to navigate the depth of Rahu's 8th house lessons. You may question your beliefs, teachers, or philosophies during this transit. Saturn and Rahu together push you to rebuild your truth from a deeper, more authentic place. Jupiter's transit between Cancer and Gemini also plays a significant role. When Jupiter is in Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its 9th aspect, bringing wisdom and stability to the intense transformation you experience. Jupiter provides clarity when things feel chaotic and gives you hope when circumstances feel overwhelming. When Jupiter is in Cancer, it strengthens your emotional intelligence and intuition, helping you navigate the challenges of the 8th house. Ketu in Leo sits in your 2nd house, creating detachment from material stability, family comfort, or old values. This supports Rahu's push into transformation because you are not clinging to old emotional or financial structures. Detachment from familiar routines helps you evolve. Between February and April 2026, when Mars, Mercury, Sun and Venus all transit Aquarius and conjoin Rahu, the intensity of this transit peaks. You may experience heightened emotions, sudden changes, spiritual breakthroughs, or psychological pressure. This is the time to stay grounded and avoid impulsive decisions. Throughout this entire period, Rahu in Shatabhisha pushes you toward deep inner healing, psychological maturity, and emotional rebirth. You may confront fears you have avoided for years, release old emotional pain, uncover hidden truths, and transform your perspective on relationships, intimacy, spirituality, and power. This is not a light transit, but it is profoundly transformative. For Leo, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius happening in your 7th house. The 7th house governs marriage, committed relationships, business partnerships, clients, public interactions, and the way you deal with others. When Rahu enters this house, especially in Shatabhisha, a nakshatra ruled by Rahu itself, the cravings, obsessions, confusions, and lessons around relationship dynamics intensify. This is not a passive transit. It directly challenges how you relate, how you respond to others, and how you manage expectations in love and partnership. Rahu in Shatabhisha functions with sharper intensity than in other nakshatras. Shatabhisha's symbolism, the empty circle, represents cycles, truth, vulnerability, and the need to understand the deeper reality behind our interactions. This nakshatra exposes the illusions and hidden cracks within relationships. For Leo people, this means the coming months will highlight where expectations, ego, or unspoken issues have been quietly building. Rahu magnifies desire for partnership, attention, validation, or intimacy, but the nakshatra's nature forces you to look at the truth beneath these desires. If you have been running from emotional clarity or ignoring relationship problems, Shatabhisha pulls you back into introspection. It demands honesty, not escape. Because Rahu was cut off from Ketu, Rahu in the 7th house often symbolizes separation tendencies, ego battles, distance, or emotional detachment. This does not automatically mean a breakup or divorce, but it does mean that relationship patterns will be tested and restructured. The 7th house deals with other people, while Leo individuals naturally carry a strong sense of individuality and pride. When Rahu enters this territory, ego clashes become more likely. You may feel that your partner is not meeting your expectations, or you may feel misunderstood, unseen, or taken for granted. Rahu here tends to exaggerate expectations and blow small misunderstandings into something larger. For this reason, humility, patience, and conscious communication become your greatest strengths during this period. On the other hand, Rahu in the 7th can pull you toward new relationships, sometimes very suddenly. These connections may feel karmic, magnetic, unusual, long distance, or from foreign backgrounds. Shatabhisha often brings people who are unconventional, aloof, private, highly intelligent, or emotionally complex. But just as quickly as Rahu brings someone in, it can create confusion or distance if expectations rise too fast. For married Leo individuals, this transit demands emotional maturity and awareness in communication. Instead of reacting impulsively to stress or disagreements, it is important to reflect on what is actually happening versus what Rahu is amplifying. The 7th house also rules business partnerships, clients, negotiations, and public interactions. For Leo individuals who are self-employed or dealing with clients, Rahu in Shatabhisha can bring a sudden rise in public visibility, new clients from foreign locations or digital platforms, or collaborations with unusual or highly innovative individuals. But it also brings unpredictability. You may need to reevaluate partnerships or be cautious about signing agreements without clarity. Shatabhisha demands transparency. If someone's intentions are unclear, this nakshatra exposes it sooner or later. Rahu's special aspects add further layers to this transit. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect and Libra with its 9th aspect. For Leo individuals, Gemini is your 11th house and Libra is your 3rd house. Rahu's 5th aspect on Gemini influences your gains, networks, friendships, ambitions, and social circles. This aspect pushes you toward educating yourself about how your friendships and social connections influence your relationships. You may explore communication patterns, social psychology, or the way your network affects your partnerships. Rahu's 9th aspect on Libra influences your 3rd house of communication, courage, siblings, marketing, and daily interactions. This aspect encourages you to develop healthier communication habits so you can dissolve illusions created in the 7th house. You may study subjects that help you understand people better, psychology, negotiation skills, conflict resolution, or relationship counseling topics. Saturn's transit in Pisces, ruling Aquarius, deepens the seriousness of this period. Saturn in your 8th house adds heavy karmic undertones to this relationship transit. The 8th house deals with shared resources, trust, vulnerability, emotional merging, and psychological depth. Saturn here forces you to understand emotional responsibility. While Rahu brings desire and confusion in partnership, Saturn reminds you of the real commitments and consequences that come with relationships. This can create pressure, but also teaches maturity. Saturn's position means that long-term relationships will need restructuring or deeper honesty. Temporary or superficial connections may fade. Jupiter's retrograde movement between Cancer and Gemini plays a major balancing role. Whenever Jupiter enters Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its 9th aspect, blessing your 7th house with wisdom, clarity, and protection. It helps calm Rahu's illusions. Jupiter here aids in resolving misunderstandings, attracting wiser partners, improving communication, and giving you a broader perspective in love and business. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your 12th house, it strengthens your intuition, helping you navigate confusing relationship moments with emotional intelligence. Ketu in Leo sits in your 1st house during this transit. This means your sense of self becomes more introspective, detached, or self-questioning. You may not feel as expressive or dominant as usual. This is actually helpful because it softens your ego, preventing unnecessary fights. Ketu here pushes you to let go of excessive pride, making space for more balanced partnerships. A highly sensitive period for Leo individuals comes from February 13th to March 15th, 2026, when the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Mars all move through Aquarius and form conjunctions with Rahu. Since Sun is your 1st house lord, its conjunction with Rahu in the 7th becomes a defining moment. You may feel confused about your identity within relationships. There may be ego struggles, misunderstandings, or intense emotional waves. But this period also brings opportunities to break old relationship patterns once and for all. Venus joining Rahu adds desire, attraction, and intensity in partnerships. Mercury adds overthinking, communication overload, or mixed signals. Mars adds conflict, impatience, and emotional reactivity. The key during this period is mindful communication and emotional discipline. Throughout this transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha asks you to uncover the truth about what you want from relationships. You may realize that certain patterns need to end, certain expectations need to be dropped, or certain wounds need to be healed. The transit pushes you to build healthier partnerships through clarity, honesty, patience, and emotional intelligence. If used wisely, it can also help you expand your business, upgrade your public connections, and meet people who play a transformative role in your life. By the end of Rahu's stay in Shatabhisha, your understanding of love, commitment, business cooperation and partnership dynamics will be completely different from where you started. The transit is meant to reshape how you relate to others, not to destroy, but to reveal what is real and what is illusion. For Virgo, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius is in the 6th house, which governs work routines, service, health, diseases, disputes, litigation, competition, colleagues, and everyday struggles. Rahu in the 6th is usually considered one of the more manageable placements because the 6th house deals with enemies and obstacles, and Rahu gives you the ability to defeat them. But when Rahu moves through Shatabhisha, a nakshatra ruled by Rahu itself, the intensity of this transit becomes sharper, more detailed, and far more transformative for your daily life. This is a time when you will confront problems directly, reorganize your routine, reassess your work environment, and develop a deeper understanding of your health and boundaries. Rahu in Shatabhisha behaves in a very analytical, probing, and truth-seeking way. Shatabhisha's symbol, the empty circle, represents cycles of healing, karmic cleansing, and repetitive patterns. For Virgo people, already detail-oriented by nature, this transit makes you even more observant of patterns in your work, your health, and your interactions with colleagues. Rahu magnifies the 6th house themes, so stress, workload, competition, and disputes may initially feel heightened. The nakshatra's nature pushes you to see the deeper truth behind these obstacles. This transit forces you to become more self-aware and disciplined in your approach to challenges. Because the 6th house represents daily work routines, Rahu in Shatabhisha can bring sudden changes in your workplace. You may find yourself dealing with new responsibilities, unusual projects, complicated tasks, or unpredictable coworkers. The environment may feel demanding or unconventional. But at the same time, this is an excellent transit for Virgo individuals who work in analytical fields, especially medicine, pharmaceuticals, psychology, research, diagnostics, law, compliance, risk management, auditing, or any profession requiring deep problem solving. Shatabhisha's healing energy aligns perfectly with medical and technical fields. If you are a doctor, nurse, therapist, researcher, or lawyer, this transit can sharpen your skills, bring breakthroughs, or push you to handle complex cases that elevate your reputation. On the health front, Rahu in the 6th demands attention. This is not a period to neglect warning signs. The nakshatra deals with healing, but it often pushes you through a cycle of awareness before healing begins. Stress-related issues, anxiety, sleep disturbances, digestive imbalances, or psychosomatic symptoms may appear if you ignore your needs. Rahu tends to amplify whatever you suppress. So, this transit teaches you to listen to your body, understand emotional triggers, and break unhealthy patterns in your routine. Shatabhisha encourages exploring alternative healing as well. Meditation, breathwork, energy healing, Ayurveda, or lifestyle-based therapies may feel more relevant than ever. Because the 6th house also rules disputes and competition, Rahu can bring conflicts with coworkers, misunderstandings at work, or competition from rivals. Rahu's nature is unpredictable, so situations may feel confusing or blown out of proportion. The key here is not to respond impulsively. Virgo individuals already operate from logic and analysis, and this transit strengthens that trait. Instead of getting caught in workplace politics, your best strategy is to maintain professionalism and let your competence speak for itself. Rahu in Shatabhisha rewards those who stay grounded and punish those who get entangled in ego battles. Relationship matters also carry sensitivity. The 6th house is 12th from the 7th house of marriage, meaning this transit can create distance in relationships. Expect phases where you and your spouse or partner feel out of sync or physically separated due to work, travel, or responsibilities. This distance is not always negative. Sometimes it brings clarity or relief, but this is not the ideal period to start a new romantic relationship. Pre-existing relationships may experience arguments, miscommunication, or emotional fatigue. Keeping expectations low, giving each other space, and avoiding unnecessary confrontations are wise choices. If managed maturely, this transit can help you understand which relationships are worth investing in and which are draining your energy. Rahu's special aspects deepen the influence of this transit. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect and Libra with its 9th aspect. For Virgo individuals, Gemini is your 10th house of career and Libra is your 2nd house of wealth, speech, and values. Rahu's 5th aspect on Gemini pressures you to improve your professional skills, communication style, and long-term goals. You may feel compelled to study something new, improve your technical abilities, or refine your public image. This aspect helps you realize how your career and daily work are interconnected, and how improving one strengthens the other. Rahu's ninth aspect on Libra activates your second house, pushing you to educate yourself about finances, savings, speaking patterns, and family responsibilities. You may start questioning your financial habits or feel the need to learn about investments, budgeting, or wealth planning. This aspect helps dissolve illusions related to money and values, ultimately grounding you. Saturn in your seventh house brings weight and responsibility to relationships. It makes you take partnerships seriously and forces you to deal with emotional maturity in marriage or business collaborations. While Rahu challenges your work life, Saturn challenges your relationship patterns. This combination can feel heavy at times, but it ensures that whatever you build, whether in work or relationships, has long-term stability. Saturn's energy also helps discipline the chaotic influence of Rahu in your sixth house. Jupiter's movement between Cancer and Gemini also plays an important balancing role. When Jupiter enters Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its ninth aspect and softens the intensity of the sixth house Rahu. It gives you guidance, clarity, mentors, and support at work. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your 11th house, it enhances your network circle and helps you find helpful people, good advisors, or supportive colleagues. Whenever Jupiter is strong, you'll feel less overwhelmed by Rahu's pressure. Ketu in Leo, placed in your 12th house, creates a background of spiritual detachment. You may feel drawn towards solitude, introspection, meditation, or spiritual practices. This aligns well with Shatabhisha's energy, which encourages inner healing and self-awareness. The more you connect with your inner world, the more manageable the sixth house pressures become. A particularly important phase arrives between February 3rd and April 11th, 2026, when Mercury, your first house lord, undergoes a long retrograde transit in Aquarius and forms multiple conjunctions with Rahu, Sun, Venus, and Mars. This is a mentally charged period. Your mind may feel overactive, your workload may spike, and communication may feel intense or overwhelming. This period can also bring breakthroughs in problem-solving, research, career clarity, or health awareness. Mindful decision-making is essential during this time. Throughout this transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha pushes you to confront the reality of your daily life. You learn what truly supports your well-being and what drains it. You understand which work environments are healthy and which aren't. You discover whether your habits are aligned with your physical and emotional health. By the time Rahu leaves Shatabhisha, you come out stronger, more aware, and better equipped to handle life's challenges with clarity and confidence. For Libra, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius is in the 5th house, which governs education, intelligence, romance, children, creativity, speculative gains, and the ability to express yourself. The 5th house is a fire house of desire, inspiration, and emotional yearning. When Rahu enters this house, especially in Shatabhisha, which is Rahu's own nakshatra, the intensity and unpredictability of 5th house matters increase. Rahu here does not allow you to take anything lightly. Whether it is romance, children, creative pursuits, or your studies, the cravings become noticeable, the emotional highs and lows become sharper, and the need to find meaning in these areas becomes stronger. Rahu in Shatabhisha functions with a very analytical, detached, truth-seeking, and emotionally unpredictable nature. This nakshatra unmasks illusions rather than feeding them. When Rahu operates through this energy in your 5th house, your romantic expectations, creative ambitions, and attachment to children or validation undergo a reality check. You may initially idealize someone, a creative project, or an academic goal, only to later discover that your assumptions need refinement. This is because the empty circle symbolism of Shatabhisha pushes you into cycles of emotional introspection, learning, detachment, and reinvention. In romance, Rahu in the 5th can make you extremely drawn towards someone who feels unusual, foreign, mysterious, or intellectually stimulating. These romantic connections are often karmic or fated, but they also tend to be on and off, unpredictable, or emotionally cold. Aquarius is a Saturn-ruled sign, and Saturn's influence restricts the warmth typically associated with romance. So, while Rahu creates obsession or excitement, Saturn filters the results through delays or emotional distance. This combination can make romance feel exciting at first but challenging to maintain. If you're single, someone could enter your life suddenly, but the connection may test your expectations. If you're in a relationship, this transit can create misunderstandings, ego clashes, or temporary distance if either partner becomes emotionally detached or overly analytical. For Libra individuals with children, this transit often brings a heightened focus on their well-being, education, or emotional needs. A child may go through a new phase, require more attention, or face some uncertainty in their life path. You may feel a strong urge to guide, protect, or influence them. At the same time, Rahu can bring worry or confusion regarding children, especially around their decisions or academic direction. Remaining calm and supportive will help prevent unnecessary stress. Creatively, Rahu in Shatabhisha can be a blessing. This nakshatra is associated with innovation, technology, futuristic systems, healing sciences, research, and new age creativity. Artistic or intellectual projects may take on a modern, unconventional flavor. You may be drawn toward digital content creation, astrology, metaphysics, writing, filmmaking, coding, scientific research, or anything that merges creativity with technology. If you work in education, entertainment, media, design, research, or any conceptual field, this transit can push you into a new creative chapter. The output requires discipline because the Aquarius influence delays results until consistent effort is applied. The fifth house is also linked to speculation, risk-taking, stock markets, and investments. Rahu increases both the appetite and the risk involved. Speculation should be handled carefully because Shatabhisha magnifies illusion before revealing truth. Quick profits may appear but can just as quickly fluctuate. Financial decisions during this time should be made with research and patience rather than impulse or emotional excitement. If handled wisely, Rahu in the fifth can open doors to new investment strategies, especially those involving technology or unconventional industries. Rahu's special aspects deepen this experience further. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its fifth aspect and Libra with its ninth aspect. For Libra individuals, Gemini rules the ninth house while Libra is your first house. Rahu's fifth aspect on Gemini pushes you to expand your philosophical understanding, question your belief systems, explore new forms of knowledge, or study subjects related to spirituality, law, metaphysics, or long-distance travel. Because Rahu is creating illusions in your fifth house, the only way to break them is by educating yourself through the ninth house, meaning you must learn, research, and explore ideas that broaden your worldview. Rahu's ninth aspect on your own first house pushes you towards self-improvement and self-awareness. You may feel compelled to study yourself, your behavior patterns, and your emotional triggers. This aspect helps break illusions around your identity, especially where your expectations in love, creativity, or personal expression may not align with reality. Saturn's transit in Pisces, ruling Aquarius, adds structure and seriousness to this journey. Saturn is placed in your sixth house, demanding discipline in your daily routine, work habits, and health. While Rahu in the fifth stimulates emotional swings, Saturn grounds you through practical responsibilities. This combination ensures that creative or romantic pursuits do not distract you from real-life duties. Saturn's influence also helps stabilize your creativity through commitment rather than inspiration alone. Jupiter's movement between Cancer and Gemini significantly softens Rahu's intensity. When Jupiter is in Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its ninth aspect, guiding your fifth house decisions with wisdom, clarity, and maturity. Jupiter helps you avoid romantic illusions, creative confusion, and educational misjudgments. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your 10th house, it brings career support, which indirectly helps reduce emotional chaos triggered by fifth house issues. Whenever Jupiter is active, your emotional world feels more grounded and your decisions become wiser. Ketu in Leo, placed in your 11th house, creates emotional distance from large social groups, friendships, or collective expectations. This detachment helps you redirect your creative and romantic energy inward rather than seeking validation through external networks. Ketu also helps you break unhealthy social dependencies, giving space for Rahu in the fifth to operate more introspectively. A highly charged phase for Libra individuals comes between February 6th and March 2nd, 2026, when Venus, Mercury, Sun, and Mars all transit Aquarius and form conjunctions with Rahu. Venus, your first house lord, joining Rahu in the fifth house intensifies romantic desires, creative expressions, and emotional sensitivities. This period can bring sudden romantic developments or creative breakthroughs. But it can also create emotional overthinking, mixed signals, creative overwhelm, or impulsive decisions. Mercury adds mental restlessness, Sun adds ego, and Mars adds intensity. Handling this period with emotional maturity and patience is essential. Throughout this transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha pushes you to uncover the truth behind your desires, romantic, creative, intellectual, or emotional. You may experience highs and lows, sudden attractions, intense creative bursts, or moments of emotional confusion. But by the time Rahu leaves Shatabhisha, you emerge with a clearer understanding of what truly brings fulfillment, what kind of relationships align with your growth, and which creative paths genuinely reflect your identity. For Scorpio, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius brings a transformative period centered around home life, emotional security, mother, property, real estate, and inner peace. The fourth house is deeply personal and emotional. It governs your private world, your roots, your psychological foundation, and the people or places that give you safety. When Rahu enters this house, especially through Shatabhisha, a nakshatra ruled by Rahu itself, the emotional climate becomes unpredictable, transformative, and revealing. This is not a superficial transit. It cuts through your inner layers, exposes buried emotional patterns, and forces you to confront the truth about what home and peace really mean to you. Shatabhisha Nakshatra's symbolism is the empty circle, representing cycles of healing, hidden wounds, emotional closures, and karmic patterns. Through Shatabhisha, Rahu does not allow illusions to survive. It pushes you to look directly at the emotional truths you may have been avoiding or suppressing. For Scorpio natives, already intuitive and intensely emotional, this transit can feel like a deep psychological cleansing process. You may realize that old emotional attachments no longer serve you, or that you need a more stable and authentic foundation in life. Rahu's presence in the fourth house often creates restlessness at home. You may feel emotionally unsettled or disconnected from your living environment. Even if nothing external is wrong, you may feel like the energy is stagnating or that you need a change of space. Some Scorpio natives may move homes, renovate, shift environments, or consider relocating abroad. Because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn signifies distance, many Scorpio people may spend time away from home, away from their homeland, or away from their mother due to work, responsibilities, or circumstances beyond their control. Even if you remain physically present, there may be emotional distance, misunderstandings, or responsibility-heavy situations with your mother. Taking care of her health becomes important because Rahu here can bring sudden concerns or fluctuations in her well-being. At the same time, Rahu can also expand your real estate prospects. If you've been planning to buy a home, land, or property, this transit can support such gains, but Saturn's influence ensures that the process demands patience, paperwork, legal clarity, and delayed gratification. Nothing comes easily, but with perseverance, the outcome can be solid and long-lasting. Rahu in Shatabhisha may also draw your attention toward home-based businesses, online work, real estate tech ventures, or digital work environments. You may prefer working from home or shifting your workspace into a more private area. Because the fourth house is 12th from the fifth, romantic matters and children may feel distant during this transit. Emotional focus shifts inward, and you may feel less enthusiastic about dating or romance. Children may become busy, move away, or go through phases where they seem distant or independent. This period is not meant to harm these relationships but to redirect your emotional energy inward so you can focus on stabilizing your inner world before investing heavily in outer relationships. Rahu in Shatabhisha also brings psychological recalibration. Scorpio individuals are known for deep internal intensity, but this transit heightens it. You may revisit past memories, family issues, old emotional wounds, or childhood conditioning. Instead of suppressing these emotions, Rahu now pushes you to analyze them, heal them, and break the cycles that keep repeating in your life. You may find yourself drawn to therapy, meditation, emotional self-work, or spiritual healing practices. Shatabhisha's strong association with healing may lead you to alternative healing methods, energy work, breath therapy, sound healing, or psychological introspection. Rahu's special aspects intensify this internal journey. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect and Libra with its 9th aspect. For Scorpio individuals, Gemini rules the 8th house and Libra rules the 12th house. Rahu's 5th aspect on Gemini pushes you into deeper occult exploration, psychological analysis, and an intense desire to understand your subconscious. You may study astrology, psychology, past life patterns, tantric healing, or anything related to hidden knowledge. This aspect also helps break illusions created by Rahu in the 4th house by encouraging you to explore the deeper emotional truth behind your fears, habits, and attachments. Rahu's 9th aspect on Libra influences your 12th house, amplifying themes of solitude, spiritual retreat, foreign travel, emotional release and subconscious cleansing. You may feel a pull toward isolation, meditation, or spending time away from people. You might travel to quiet places, spiritual centers, or even foreign lands to find peace. The 12th house also governs sleep, so dreams may become vivid, symbolic, or emotionally charged. This aspect encourages you to learn about spiritual psychology, emotional detachment, and the deeper layers of your mind. It helps dissolve illusions around your need for external emotional security. Saturn's transit in Pisces, ruling Aquarius, adds seriousness to this emotional transformation. Saturn sits in your 5th house, demanding emotional maturity, discipline in creative expression, and responsibility toward children or romantic matters. While Rahu shakes your inner foundation, Saturn stabilizes your creative and emotional responses. You may not feel as playful or carefree, but this is a time for emotional restructuring rather than emotional indulgence. Jupiter's retrograde movement between Cancer and Gemini also plays an essential balancing role. When Jupiter enters Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its 9th aspect, giving wisdom and maturity to your emotional decisions. Jupiter helps you navigate home matters, family issues, or emotional conflicts with clarity rather than confusion. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your 9th house, it strengthens your belief system, giving you spiritual grounding during this emotionally intense period. Ketu in Leo, placed in your 10th house, reduces your attachment to career recognition. You may feel less interested in public validation and more focused on your private life. This supports the emotional introspection of Rahu in the 4th house. You may also reconsider your career direction or shift your ambitions based on inner changes. A highly intense phase arrives between February 23rd and April 2nd, 2026, when Mars, Mercury, Sun and Venus all transit Aquarius and form conjunctions with Rahu. Mars is your ascendant lord, and its conjunction with Rahu can heighten emotional stress, impatience, or conflict at home. Sun brings ego issues, Mercury brings overthinking, and Venus adds emotional sensitivity. During this time, remaining calm, avoiding impulsive decisions, and staying mindful of family interactions is essential. Throughout this entire transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha pushes you to redefine your emotional foundation. It does not allow you to hide from your inner truth. You may change homes, shift environments, distance from familiar emotional anchors, or rebuild your inner world from the ground up. By the end of this transit, you emerge emotionally stronger, clearer, and far more grounded. This is a karmic cleansing period, intense, transformative, but ultimately healing. For Sagittarius individuals, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius is in your 3rd house, one of the most dynamic, effort-driven areas of the chart. The 3rd house governs communication, travel, skills, courage, self-effort, business ventures, marketing, writing, public speaking, younger siblings, networking, and the willingness to take risks. When Rahu moves here, especially through Shatabhisha, it creates a period of intense mental activity, heightened ambition, and a restless urge to break out of your comfort zone. This transit pushes you into new experiences, new skills, and new forms of communication, but it also tests your judgment, your courage, and your ability to stay consistent. Shatabhisha Nakshatra adds a very specific quality to Rahu's behavior. This is Rahu's own nakshatra. Shatabhisha represents healing, revelation, secrecy, and the empty circle that symbolizes repeating life patterns. When Rahu expresses through this nakshatra in your 3rd house, your efforts and decisions become karmically charged. You are pushed to explore what truly drives you, what skills you need to master, and where your communication style needs improvement. This is a time when you become more analytical, more observant, and more attuned to the subtle motivations behind your actions. You may begin to notice repeating patterns in your communication, relationships with siblings, or work habits, and Rahu forces you to correct them. The 3rd house is also the house of courage and initiative. Rahu here amplifies your desire to take risks, start new ventures, or dive into unfamiliar fields. You may feel a strong pull toward launching a business, writing publicly, speaking on platforms, or learning new technical or communication-oriented skills. Shatabhisha's energy aligns with modern systems, technology, research, and unconventional methods. This means your efforts are likely to revolve around innovative or futuristic ideas, digital media work, coding, online business models, healing-based systems, or information-heavy fields. Even if you've never considered entrepreneurship before, Rahu can create a sudden urge to build something of your own. At the same time, Rahu in Shatabhisha can create restlessness, overthinking and unpredictability. You may start several projects and abandon them midway if you don't find immediate progress. The Saturn influence on Aquarius as main ruler ensures that nothing comes easily. This transit rewards perseverance, skill development, and disciplined effort. If you show consistency, the results will be substantial: improved courage, enhanced talent, expanded communication skills, and new professional opportunities. But if you seek shortcuts, the results will be temporary. Younger siblings may also become a major focus. There may be sudden changes in their lives, stress, illness, relocation, or instability that draw your attention. Emotional distance or physical separation from a sibling is possible. Rahu can create misunderstandings or unpredictable situations with siblings if communication is poor. Patience, clarity, and compassion are important. Because the third house rules short-distance travel and driving, Rahu in Shatabhisha increases the need for caution. Sudden, impulsive travel plans may arise. Traffic, rush driving, or lack of rest can lead to unnecessary risks. Saturn is the ruler of Aquarius, so its influence demands discipline, awareness, and safety. Travel can be frequent, but it must be mindful. Rahu's special aspects play a major role in shaping the deeper lessons of this transit. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect and Libra with its 9th aspect. For Sagittarius individuals, Gemini is the 7th house and Libra is the 11th house. Rahu's 5th aspect on Gemini pushes you to improve your communication style within partnerships, both personal and business. Because you may be impulsive or overly direct during this transit, misunderstandings can arise in relationships. This aspect encourages you to educate yourself in emotional communication, negotiation, or relationship dynamics so you can break the illusions created by Rahu in your actions. You may become aware of how your tone, timing, or assumptions impact people close to you. Rahu's 9th aspect on Libra activates your 11th house of gains, networks, elder siblings, and social circles. This aspect pushes you to understand how your efforts in the 3rd house affect your long-term goals. You may feel drawn toward mentorship, networking, collaboration, or working with groups. You may also study topics related to social structures, group psychology, or business expansion. This aspect helps break illusions around friendships or expectations from social circles. You become more aware of which connections actually support your growth. Saturn sits in your 4th house, affecting your emotional base, home life, and inner stability. While Rahu pushes you outward to take action, Saturn pulls you inward, asking you to create emotional discipline. This combination can sometimes feel conflicting. You want adventure and movement, but Saturn reminds you to remain grounded. Emotional frustration, home-related responsibilities, or mother-related issues may compete with your desire to pursue new ventures. This tension forces you to balance internal emotional work with external effort. Jupiter's movement between Cancer and Gemini plays a stabilizing role. When Jupiter enters Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its 9th aspect, bringing wisdom, clarity, and moral grounding to your efforts. You may find a mentor, learn something important, or gain better understanding of your own motivations. This is a beneficial period for communication, writing, teaching, or business decisions. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your 8th house, it helps you understand deeper psychological patterns behind your efforts, supporting Rahu's transformative agenda in Shatabhisha. Ketu in Leo, placed in your 9th house, brings detachment from traditional belief systems, old teachers, or old philosophies. This encourages you to rely more on your personal experiences and self-driven learning rather than relying solely on external authority. This detachment supports Rahu's push toward independent thinking in the 3rd house. A particularly intense period arrives between February and April 2026, when Mars, Mercury, Sun, and Venus all transit Aquarius and conjoin Rahu. This cluster amplifies mental energy, communication, decisive action, creativity, frustration, and ambition. Mars can make you impulsive or competitive, Mercury can bring overthinking, Sun can agitate ego-based communication, and Venus may push you toward pleasure-seeking or creative expression. This period is excellent for business launches, creative projects, or learning new skills, but it requires careful communication, controlled temper, and thoughtful action. Throughout the transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha pushes you to redefine your voice, your skills, and your ability to take charge of your life. It exposes illusions around your courage, your communication habits, and your relationship with effort. You may discover that you've been underusing your talents, or relying too much on comfort rather than action. Rahu breaks those patterns and replaces them with ambition, independence, and boldness. By the time Rahu finishes its journey through Shatabhisha, you emerge more skilled, more confident, and more aware of your true potential. For Capricorn, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius brings a powerful shift in the areas of wealth, speech, family life, values, food habits, savings, and emotional stability. The second house represents the foundation of your material and emotional security. When Rahu enters this house, especially through Shatabhisha, a nakshatra ruled by Rahu itself, the desire for security increases, but so does the instability and unpredictability around the matters you value most. This transit demands clarity, discipline, emotional intelligence, and careful handling of finances and family dynamics. Shatabhisha Nakshatra, with its symbol of the empty circle, represents cycles of learning, healing, detachment, and karmic cleansing. Because Shatabhisha strips illusions away, Rahu's presence here pushes you to see the truth about your financial habits, your emotional attachments, the way you communicate, and the hidden dynamics within your family. You may initially feel confused or restless about money, obligations, or relationships at home, but the deeper purpose of this transit is to help you rebuild these foundations with more awareness. Financially, Rahu in the second house increases your desire for wealth, comfort, and financial security. You may become more ambitious, hungry for growth, or eager to improve your income. Rahu pushes you to explore unconventional ways of earning, technology, digital platforms, sudden investments, unusual business models, or foreign-linked income. But because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn, the results will come only after consistent effort, discipline, and time. Shortcuts will not work. You may earn more during this period, but you may also spend more if you're not careful. The transit increases impulsiveness around money, and Shatabhisha's illusion-breaking energy can expose weak financial habits or careless decisions. To avoid losses, managing your spending, tracking expenses, and planning long-term become essential. The second house also governs family relationships, especially those you live with or share emotional history with. Rahu transiting here may bring misunderstandings, distance, emotional coldness, or unpredictability within the family. You may feel misunderstood or find that certain family members behave in new or unexpected ways. Shatabhisha often brings truth to the surface, so hidden emotional issues, past resentments, or communication gaps within the family may come up. Instead of avoiding these issues, this is a time to approach them with maturity and patience. Rahu may also indicate changes or expansion in the family, births, marriages, relocations, or shifts in family structure. This transit can also highlight the health of a family member. Sudden concerns or fluctuations may arise, requiring attention or responsibility from your side. Saturn's influence over Aquarius means that responsibilities related to family may feel heavy or demanding, but they are part of the karmic obligations of this period. The second house also rules speech, and Rahu here requires great caution. You may speak impulsively, say things you don't fully mean, exaggerate, or unintentionally hurt others. Your tone may shift unpredictably depending on your emotional state. Because Shatabhisha emphasizes honesty and truth, Rahu may push you to say things that are honest but delivered harshly or without emotional consideration. Speaking with patience, clarity, and awareness is vital. This is a powerful period for those who use their voice in career, public speakers, singers, counselors, writers, but only if speech is controlled and refined. Your food habits and eating patterns may fluctuate during this transit. Rahu often causes cravings, unusual food choices, or instability in diet. You may feel pulled toward extremes, overeating, fasting, experimentation, or unconventional diets. Your emotional state may heavily influence your food choices. Since the second house also indirectly influences health through food, maintaining consistency and discipline becomes essential. Rahu's special aspects intensify the learning process of this transit. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect and Libra with its 9th aspect. For Capricorn individuals, Gemini rules the 6th house of health, disputes, work routines, and obstacles, while Libra rules the 10th house of career, status, and recognition. Rahu's 5th aspect on Gemini pushes you to educate yourself about your health, your work habits, and the way you manage daily duties. This aspect helps you break illusions around what creates real stability in your life. It urges you to pay attention to health signals, build better routines, and address unresolved disputes. Because the second house deals with emotional security, Rahu's illusion here can be dissolved only by educating yourself in 6th house matters, meaning discipline, responsibility, and daily structure become antidotes to confusion. Rahu's ninth aspect on Libra influences your career. This aspect pushes you to explore new skills, new business ideas, or new strategies for professional growth. Your career may shift direction or evolve through new learning. This aspect helps balance the second house illusions by teaching you what kind of work truly supports your financial stability. It pushes you toward intellectual or artistic growth, guiding you toward a more refined career identity. Saturn sits in your third house, demanding disciplined effort, clearer communication, and patience in skill development. Saturn supports your financial growth by making you more hardworking, practical, and realistic. It also heightens responsibilities around communication, travel, or siblings. The Saturn influence ensures that all financial and family matters follow a practical, structured path. Jupiter's retrograde movement between Cancer and Gemini softens Rahu's intensity significantly. When Jupiter enters Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its ninth aspect, bringing wisdom, clarity, and emotional maturity to your financial decisions and family interactions. Jupiter's guidance helps you avoid impulsive spending, emotional overreactions, and poor communication. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your seventh house, it brings supportive partnerships, personal or business, that help you navigate second house challenges with stability and compassion. Ketu in Leo, situated in your eighth house, brings detachment from deep emotional fears, inheritance issues, or psychological burdens. This works well as Rahu in the second house forces you to confront material or emotional insecurities. Ketu helps you release old fears while Rahu teaches you new lessons. A highly charged period occurs when Mars, Mercury, Sun, and Venus all transit Aquarius between February and April 2026, forming conjunctions with Rahu. This cluster amplifies emotional sensitivity, financial pressure, family disagreements, and communication challenges. Mars may make you impatient, Mercury may cause overthinking, Sun may trigger ego, and Venus may intensify emotional needs. This period demands grounding and careful handling of finances and relationships. Throughout this entire transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha pushes you to redefine your relationship with security, financial, emotional, and familial. It brings temporary instability to teach you what stability truly means. You may become more aware of your values, your emotional patterns, and the foundations you rely on. By the end of this transit, you emerge wiser about money, clearer in communication, and more emotionally grounded. For Aquarius, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius is one of the defining, transformative, and identity-shaping periods. Rahu will be transiting your first house, the house of self, personality, direction, physical body, appearance, confidence, independence, and your overall life path. This is a transit that changes how you see yourself, how you present yourself to the world, and what you believe your purpose is. When Rahu, already your co-ruler, moves into your first house in its own nakshatra Shatabhisha, the intensity and impact dramatically increase. This transit sets the stage for a complete psychological, emotional, and professional reboot. Rahu in Shatabhisha behaves like a powerful internal mirror. Shatabhisha's empty circle symbol represents cycles of change, healing, truth, and inner revelation. When Rahu expresses through Shatabhisha in your first house, you begin to see yourself more clearly, but this clarity often comes only after passing through phases of confusion, self-doubt, or restlessness. You may feel like you are shedding an older identity and searching for a new one. There is a strong pull toward reinventing yourself, your goals, lifestyle, habits, appearance, work direction, or even the very way you exist in the world. This is a period when your focus naturally shifts away from external obligations and toward yourself. You feel a deep need to understand your purpose, your direction, and what your heart genuinely wants. People may observe that you are becoming more independent, more unpredictable, or more introspective. Rahu in the first house often pushes individuals to break free from old labels, old expectations, and limitations set by society or family. You may feel the urge to move away from familiar environments, or take bold decisions that surprise others. This is because Rahu here rewires your mind to think differently, to pursue unconventional paths, explore non-traditional careers, or express a version of yourself that you previously hid or suppressed. Your appearance may also change during this period. You may experiment with your style, your physical presentation, your health routines, or the way you carry yourself. This is not vanity. It is tied to the deeper identity shift happening inside you. But you must also be mindful of health. Rahu in the first house can create fluctuations in energy levels, anxiety, or psychosomatic symptoms if emotional stress is not managed. Shatabhisha's connection to healing emphasizes the need for self-care, detox, rest, and emotional balance. You may find yourself drawn toward alternative healing, meditation, or holistic health practices as you search for equilibrium. Since the first house is directly opposite the seventh house of relationships, this transit naturally pulls your attention away from partnerships and back to yourself. If you have been carrying the weight of others' expectations or compromising excessively in relationships, this transit will sharply highlight those imbalances. You may desire more space, more independence, or more emotional autonomy. This can create misunderstandings if your partner feels neglected. For unmarried Aquarians, this is not the ideal period to start a serious relationship because your identity is in flux. You are still discovering who you are becoming, and it's better to avoid commitments until clarity returns after Rahu leaves Aquarius. Career direction may also shift. Rahu in the first house awakens the entrepreneurial urge. You may feel drawn towards self-employment, freelancing, leadership roles, or humanitarian work. Aquarius is the sign of innovation, technology, collective movements, and social change. Many Aquarians will feel the call to serve humanity, participate in group causes, or create something meaningful for society. This is a transit that encourages breaking out of repetitive job structures and pursuing a calling that aligns with your authentic self. Rahu's special aspects further shape this transformation. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect and Libra with its 9th aspect. For Aquarius individuals, Gemini is the 5th house and Libra is the 9th house. Rahu's 5th aspect on Gemini pushes you to improve your intelligence, creativity, communication style, and decision-making. It exposes illusions around your own thought patterns and urges you to study new subjects, refine your thinking, and cultivate more clarity in your approach to life. Many Aquarians will feel drawn toward learning new technologies, exploring creative arts, studying astrology, or diving into intellectually stimulating fields. This aspect also encourages emotional awareness so that illusions around identity can dissolve. Rahu's 9th aspect on Libra activates your 9th house of higher learning, belief systems, long-distance travel, teachers, and philosophies. You may feel compelled to question old belief systems, break away from restrictive teachings, or explore new spiritual or philosophical perspectives. You may find unconventional gurus, or you may feel that traditional teachings no longer resonate. Long-distance travel may become important for inspiration or self-discovery. This aspect helps balance the illusions around your sense of self by expanding your worldview and helping you redefine your beliefs based on experience rather than habit. Saturn sits in your 2nd house, influencing your finances, speech, food habits, family responsibilities, and emotional stability. While Rahu pushes you toward reinvention, Saturn demands financial discipline and responsibility. You may feel pulled between personal transformation and material obligations. This tension actually keeps you balanced, ensuring that you evolve responsibly without destabilizing your financial or family life. Jupiter's retrograde movement between Cancer and Gemini greatly supports this process. When Jupiter enters Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its 9th aspect, giving you wisdom, emotional maturity, and a clearer sense of direction. This is when the confusion of Rahu begins to make sense and your inner transformation starts aligning with your outer choices. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your 6th house, it helps you manage stress, work responsibilities, and health concerns with more clarity. Ketu in Leo, placed in your 7th house, contributes to emotional withdrawal from relationships. Ketu here reduces your attachment to partnership, making your self-focus even stronger. This helps you prioritize personal healing and inner growth without feeling guilty or constrained. A powerful turning point arrives between February and April 2026 when Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all move through Aquarius and conjoin Rahu. Sun highlights ego, Mercury intensifies thought processes, Venus heightens emotional sensitivity, and Mars increases assertiveness or restlessness. This period is extremely transformative and can feel emotionally charged. You may feel impulsive, restless, inspired, overwhelmed, or suddenly clear about your direction. Decisions made during this period can shape your long-term future. Throughout this transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha reshapes your identity from the inside out. You may feel like you are losing who you once were, but in reality, you are shedding an outdated version of yourself. This is a period of deep self-discovery, healing, awakening, and redirection. By the end of this transit, your life path, personality, career direction, and emotional understanding of yourself will be significantly different, more authentic, more aligned, and more spiritually grounded. For Pisces, Rahu's transit through Shatabhisha Nakshatra in Aquarius unfolds one of the introspective, spiritual and karmically significant periods. Rahu will be moving through your 12th house, the house of the unconscious mind, foreign lands, isolation, sleep, dreams, expenses, losses, spiritual liberation, healing, and deep psychological closure. When Rahu enters this domain, especially through Shatabhisha, its own nakshatra, your inner world becomes the main stage. This transit pulls you inward, away from material distractions, and into the depths of your subconscious, your unresolved emotions, your karmic attachments, and your spiritual evolution. Shatabhisha Nakshatra's energy is powerful and uncompromising. Its empty circle symbol represents the cycle of life, the dissolution of old patterns, and the requirement to face inner truths. Rahu in Shatabhisha does not allow you to escape your inner reality. It magnifies everything buried beneath the surface so you can address it. For Pisces individuals, already intuitive and spiritually sensitive, this transit heightens psychic awareness, vivid dreams, subtle emotional impressions, and a strong pull towards solitude or mystical exploration. The 12th house is also the house of closures, and Rahu's role here becomes very clear. Whatever is meant to end will end, and whatever is meant to be released will be released. This includes emotional patterns, relationships, habits, fears, and unresolved chapters of your life. Some of these closures may feel heavy or unexpected, but Shatabhisha ensures that they are truthful and necessary. The urge to travel, relocate, or spend extended time in foreign lands becomes strong under this transit. Foreign environments may feel familiar or comforting because they support your inner transformation. Rahu in the 12th often takes people abroad physically or mentally, through travel, meditation retreats, spiritual studies, or periods of isolation. Even if you do not physically travel, your mind travels far beyond ordinary boundaries. You may explore occult teachings, metaphysics, astrology, healing systems, or deeper dimensions of spirituality. Shatabhisha's healing motif encourages you to find peace through meditation, therapy, alternative healing, or introspective practices. Health must be taken seriously during this transit. The 12th house governs hospitals, immune system vulnerability, exhaustion, sleep patterns, and psychosomatic issues. Rahu exaggerates these themes, especially when it is influenced by Shatabhisha's need for healing. Neglecting your physical or emotional health may lead to unnecessary complications. Sleep disturbances are common. Vivid dreams, unusual dreams, or waking up suddenly without reason become frequent. Anxiety may also affect sleep quality. Maintaining grounding, rest, proper diet, and stress management becomes essential. Expenses can increase significantly if not monitored. The 12th house governs expenditure and losses, and Rahu tends to inflate whatever the house represents. Impulsive spending, unnecessary purchases, foreign expenses, travel expenses, or investment mistakes may appear if you lack discipline. Aquarius, being a Saturn-ruled sign, brings delays and responsibilities, meaning financial decisions must be thoughtful, calculated, and realistic. Without proper planning, financial pressure may build. On the positive side, Rahu in the 12th can also generate income from foreign connections, online work, spiritual services, or activities involving seclusion or research. But you must remain wise and grounded to avoid wasteful losses. Relationships may enter a quieter or more detached phase. Ketu in your 6th house pushes you inward as well, so your emotional energy shifts away from daily social responsibilities and toward healing your inner world. You may withdraw from certain people or feel less connected to your work environment. This does not mean relationships will suffer. Rather, you may realize which connections drain your energy and which ones support your inner growth. Some friendships or emotional attachments may naturally dissolve as part of the closure cycle. This is a time to choose peace over drama. Rahu's special aspects amplify the deeper lessons of this transit. From Aquarius, Rahu aspects Gemini with its 5th aspect and Libra with its 9th aspect, both of which are extremely meaningful for Pisces individuals. Gemini is your 4th house, and Rahu's 5th aspect pushes you to examine your emotional foundation, childhood patterns, relationship with your mother, and your need for emotional security. This aspect pushes you to educate yourself about how your emotions influence your decisions. You may realize that your inner peace has been tied to old narratives or unprocessed emotional patterns. Studying psychology, healing, self-improvement, or emotional intelligence becomes a powerful tool for dissolving illusions in your 12th house. Rahu's 9th aspect on Libra influences your 8th house, the house of transformation, trauma, rebirth, occult, shared resources, and intimacy. This aspect intensifies your interest in hidden knowledge or occult sciences and helps you break illusions about your fears, your emotional dependencies, and your relationship patterns. The 8th house is where deep psychological healing takes place, and Rahu's influence pushes you to understand the truth behind your emotional wounds. This support helps you dismantle illusions and complete the closure cycle that the 12th house requires. Saturn's transit through Pisces adds a powerful layer of grounding and responsibility. Saturn sits in your 1st house, reshaping your personality, your health, and your identity, while Rahu dissolves old patterns in your 12th. This combination is extremely karmic and transformative. Saturn forces maturity and discipline, while Rahu encourages spiritual clarity and emotional release. You may feel a push-pull between external responsibilities and inner withdrawal, but ultimately Saturn anchors you while Rahu purifies you. Jupiter's movement between Cancer and Gemini provides much-needed support. When Jupiter enters Gemini, it aspects Aquarius with its 9th aspect, helping stabilize your inner world with wisdom and faith. This is when the lessons of Rahu begin to make sense. When Jupiter is in Cancer, your 5th house, it deepens your creativity, intuition, and emotional intelligence, supporting Rahu's spiritual work in the 12th. Between February and April 2026, when Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all transit Aquarius and conjoin Rahu, the intensity of this transit peaks. Your mind may feel overactive, your emotions heightened, and your need for solitude extremely strong. This period can bring breakthroughs, awakenings, emotional releases, or sudden spiritual insights. But it can also bring confusion, exhaustion, or emotional overload if not managed mindfully. Throughout this transit, Rahu in Shatabhisha pulls you into a deep spiritual cleansing. You may shed old emotional baggage, release limiting beliefs, detach from draining connections, and close karmic cycles that have been active for years. It is not a light transit, but it is profoundly healing. By the end of this transit, you emerge spiritually renewed, emotionally lighter, psychologically clearer, and ready for a new phase of growth. This is a karmic reset, intense, transformative, and ultimately liberating. As we conclude this episode, please keep in mind that these insights are based on the Sidereal Zodiac system used in Vedic Astrology, which differs from the tropical system by approximately 24 degrees. These are general predictions. The real impact depends on your dasha cycles and your individual birth chart. For a personalized analysis or consultation, feel free to reach out. If you found this video valuable, please like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And now, you can also hype this video to boost it within the community. Your support helps this knowledge reach more people who may benefit. Thank you for watching. Stay aware, keep learning, and keep shining bright.